Welcome to Fluent by Story. In this video, we will tell you the full story of Mr. Bean, the funny man who made the whole world laugh without saying many words. You will hear about how he was created, his most famous moments, and why people still love him today. Listen carefully, speak along if you like, and enjoy this fun and simple English story. Mr. Bean is one of the most beloved and recognizable comedy characters in the world, and his story begins with the brilliant British actor and comedian Rowan Atkinson, who was born on January 6, 1955, in Consett, County Durham, England, and grew up as the youngest of four brothers in a middle-class family, where he developed a shy personality, but also showed signs of a deep intelligence and a unique sense of humor that would later make him famous. After attending Newcastle University to study electrical engineering, Rowan continued his education at the Queen's College, Oxford, where he earned a master's degree in the same field, but it was during his time at Oxford that he started exploring comedy through live performances, especially in the Oxford University Dramatic Society and the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, where his gift for physical comedy and exaggerated facial expressions began to shine, and where he met future collaborators like writer Richard Curtis, who would go on to help him create Mr. Bean. While many comedians rely on words and jokes, Rowan Atkinson realized early that he could entertain audiences with just his face, voice, and body language, inspired by silent film legends like Charlie Chaplin and Jacques Tati, and from this inspiration, the idea for Mr. Bean was born. A strange, childlike man who lives in a world of his own, barely speaks, wears a tight brown suit and red tie, and always finds ridiculous ways to solve the simplest problems, creating chaos wherever he goes. The character first appeared in a stage show in the late 1970s, but officially came to life on January 1st, 1990, when the first episode of the television show Mr. Bean aired on British television network ITV, and the world was introduced. To a man who seems to be an adult, but acts like a mischievous little boy, who lives alone in a small apartment, drives a tiny green mini car with a black hood, and has only one real friend, a brown teddy bear named Teddy, whom he treats like a person and takes everywhere with him. The TV series quickly became a sensation in the UK, and what made Mr. Bean so unique was that the humor did not depend on dialogue. In fact, Mr. Bean rarely spoke more than a few words in any episode. Instead, the comedy came from physical gestures, body movement, facial expressions, and absurd situations, which made it easy for people around the world to understand and enjoy, regardless of their language. And because of this universal appeal, the show was soon sold to more than 90 countries, making Mr. Bean a truly global star. Over the course of just 14 main episodes that aired between 1990 and 1995, Rowan Atkinson created some of the most memorable and hilarious scenes in television history, such as Mr. Bean changing into his swimming trunks without taking off his trousers in front of strangers, going to the dentist and accidentally injecting himself with anesthesia, trying to stay awake in church while nodding off again and again, preparing for an exam by trying to cheat, getting a turkey stuck on his head during Christmas dinner, playing with fireworks and ruining his apartment, trying to paint his room using an explosive bucket, getting his hand stuck in a teapot, and constantly annoying people with his bizarre and selfish behavior, yet always remaining oddly lovable because of his innocent intentions and clueless expressions. The show didn't follow a strict storyline or continuity. Each episode was more like a set of short sketches, with Mr. Bean facing new challenges in everyday life and responding in ways that no normal person ever would, often causing problems. For others, while never realizing what he has done wrong, and this combination of childish curiosity, silent film humor, and unpredictable madness became the signature style of the character. Rowan Atkinson has said in interviews that Mr. Bean is essentially a 9-year-old boy trapped in a grown man's body, and that's why people find him so relatable and funny. We all recognize that part of ourselves that wants to act silly, break the rules, and not worry about the consequences. Even though only a small number of episodes were made, Mr. Bean's popularity grew year after year, thanks to reruns, VHS tapes, DVDs, and eventually online platforms like YouTube, where clips from the show have been viewed billions of times, making Mr. Bean one of the most watched comedy figures in history. Following the massive success of the TV series, Rowan Atkinson brought the character to the big screen in 1997 with the movie Bean, which tells the story of Mr. Bean being sent to the United States as an art expert, even though he knows nothing about art, and causing disaster after disaster at a famous museum in Los Angeles, all while unintentionally ruining the most valuable painting in the building, but somehow managing to fix things in the end in his own weird way. And while the movie received mixed reviews from critics, audiences loved it, and it earned over $250 million worldwide, proving that Mr. Bean could succeed beyond television and become a box office star. 10 years later, in 2007, Mr. Bean returned in Mr. Bean's Holiday, where he wins a trip to the south of France and ends up on a chaotic journey full of misunderstandings, lost luggage, strange foods, broken cameras, a Russian boy he accidentally adopts, and a film festival that he crashes in the most unexpected way, with the movie ending in a joyful musical number on a beach that feels like a warm goodbye to the character. And though this film had less dialogue than the first, it captured the spirit of classic Mr. Bean and delighted fans worldwide. During this time, Mr. Bean also entered the world of animation, with Mr. Bean, the animated series, launching in 2002, bringing the character to a new generation of fans through colorful cartoons and new adventures, while staying true to the character's nonverbal comedy and simple logic. The cartoon ran for several seasons and became popular in schools, on kids' TV channels, and in international markets where children could enjoy it without needing to know English. In addition to TV and movies, Mr. Bean became a part of pop culture in many other ways, appearing in commercials for products, being turned into dolls, toys, books, mobile apps, memes, and even a video game, and his image could be found everywhere, from birthday cards to Halloween costumes, showing how deeply the character had entered global consciousness. One of the most memorable appearances of Mr. Bean outside of his show was during the opening ceremony of the 2012 London Olympics, where Rowan Atkinson performed a hilarious skit in which he joined the London Symphony Orchestra to play one repetitive note on a keyboard, only to daydream about running along a beach in a parody of the movie Chariots of Fire, which made millions of viewers around the world laugh and reminded everyone of how powerful and timeless his comedy still was. This Olympic performance was not just a comedy sketch, but a symbol of how Mr. Bean, a character created decades earlier, still had the power to connect with people of all ages and cultures through simple universal humor without needing any translation, and even though Mr. Bean had become a global phenomenon, Rowan Atkinson always approached the role with seriousness and precision, treating every scene with care, rehearsing physical movements in detail, and believing that comedy is not about telling jokes, but about telling stories through behavior and timing, which is why he always said that Mr. Bean was one of the hardest characters to play, even though people often assumed it was easy because it looked so silly. And over time, Rowan began to feel the physical and creative pressure of continuing the role, especially as he got older. And in several interviews, he mentioned that while he was proud of Mr. Bean, he didn't want to keep playing him forever, because the character was physically demanding and relied heavily on youthful energy and exaggerated motion, which became harder to sustain with age. And this led to his decision to gradually retire Mr. Bean from live-action roles, although he continued to voice the animated version and occasionally make special appearances when it felt right, saying that while he no longer wanted to perform Mr. Bean regularly, he still loved the character and appreciated the joy it brought to millions. Many people were surprised by Rowan Atkinson's real-life personality, which is very different from Mr. Bean. In person, Rowan is soft-spoken, intellectual, and highly private, known for his love of cars, engineering, and classic comedy, and he once described himself as a man who doesn't crave attention, even though he accidentally became one of the most famous faces in the world, which is ironic because Mr. Bean is all about drawing attention through outrageous actions and behavior, and Rowan even admitted that he sometimes felt uncomfortable with how popular the character became, as people would approach him in public, expecting him to act like Mr. Bean, when in reality he preferred to be left alone or talk about more serious topics like politics, technology, or car design. Still, Rowan always respected the fans and understood why people loved Mr. Bean so much, because the character represents something deeply human. The awkward, clumsy part of ourselves that tries to make life work in strange and unexpected ways. And even when things go terribly wrong, we still root for Mr. Bean because we see ourselves in him. Whether it's failing to impress someone, struggling with basic tasks, getting lost, or just wanting a simple day to go smoothly but somehow making a mess of everything. The magic of Mr. Bean lies in this universal experience. No matter where you live, what language you speak, or how old you are, you can laugh at his problems because they are both absurd and familiar. And that's why the show never really aged, continuing to find new fans year after year, generation after generation, with children in every corner of the world discovering the character for the first time and laughing out loud just like their parents did years ago. As time went on, Mr. Bean became more than just a comedy character. He became a cultural icon, studied in film schools, referenced in textbooks, used in psychological research about nonverbal communication, and honored in retrospectives about the greatest television shows of all time, often compared to silent legends like Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, who also used physical comedy to speak louder than words. And many critics pointed out that Mr. Bean revived the spirit of silent film in a modern television format, proving that good comedy doesn't need words. It just needs good timing, clear emotions, and a character the audience cares about. And in this way, Rowan Atkinson accomplished something very rare, creating a timeless figure who could entertain people across borders and generations with nothing but a look, a gesture, or a simple mistake. Over the years, the show's influence could be seen in countless other comedy series and movies, with comedians and writers citing Mr. Bean as an inspiration for their own work, and educational programs often used episodes of the show to teach English, body language, and storytelling. Because the humor was so easy to understand and so effective for teaching communication through action, not just speech, and schools around the world began showing Mr. Bean episodes in classrooms, not just to make students laugh, but to help them learn how to express feelings and understand social situations without needing long explanations. Meanwhile, the Mr. Bean brand continued to grow, with merchandise sold in dozens of countries, including plush toys of Teddy, models of his mini-car, T-shirts, mugs, costumes, books, DVDs, calendars, board games, and more, and the character was featured in theme parks, comic books, children's apps, and even postage stamps, turning him into a true global brand with a reach far beyond television, while the animated series remained on air for years, releasing new episodes and keeping the character fresh for younger audiences who might not have seen the original live-action show. And throughout all this, Rowan Atkinson kept working on other projects too, such as the Johnny English film series, where he played a bumbling secret agent in a parody of James Bond, again using physical comedy and awkward behavior to great effect, though those characters spoke much more than Mr. Bean, and while they were popular, fans always asked him the same question: would Mr. Bean ever return for a new movie or episode? And although Rowan usually said no, he never fully closed the door, and every few years he would return for a surprise appearance, such as a skit, a short film, a commercial, or an online video, reminding everyone that Mr. Bean is never truly gone and could show up anytime with a silly idea, a confused face, and a suitcase full of chaos. Looking back, it's incredible to think how such a simple idea, a man who barely talks and always causes trouble, became one of the most successful comedy creations in television history. And it all started from a young man at Oxford who loved engineering and used his rubbery face and body to make people laugh, eventually creating a character who needs no language, no big budget, no special effects, and no big speeches to win hearts across the world. Today, Mr. Bean's videos continue to attract billions of views online. His episodes are watched daily by fans new and old, and his legacy is set in stone as one of the most iconic characters ever created, proof that laughter is truly a universal language, and that in a world full of noise, sometimes the quietest man can make the biggest impact. And as the years passed and the world changed with new technologies, social media platforms, and short-form content dominating attention spans, Mr. Bean's style of comedy remained just as powerful and relevant, because people still love simple visual humor that doesn't rely on language, politics, or trends, and this is why even today, Mr. Bean continues to gain millions of new fans through TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and Facebook videos, where classic scenes like the turkey on the head, the exam cheating attempt, or the Christmas shopping chaos go viral again and again, proving that laughter from physical comedy never gets old. And even though Rowan Atkinson has stepped back from performing Mr. Bean live, he still oversees and approves new animated content, digital releases, and collaborations, ensuring that the character stays true to its original spirit. And in fact, Mr. Bean is now often used in educational and family-friendly contexts, helping children learn about emotions, social behavior, and creative problem-solving, while also serving as lighthearted entertainment for adults seeking nostalgia or stress relief, making him one of the rare fictional figures who bridges generations and offers something meaningful to viewers of all ages. And behind all this continued success is the disciplined genius of Rowan Atkinson, who always believed in the power of clear structure, rhythm, and timing in comedy, which is why even the simplest Mr. Bean sketches are built with precision and care, like miniature silent films where every movement matters and every reaction is crafted to draw laughter without needing a punchline. And this dedication has inspired a new generation of content creators, comedians, and performers around the world who look to Mr. Bean as a model for how to make people laugh using only the tools of human expression. And in interviews, Rowan often reflects on how strange it is that a character with no real name, no backstory, and barely any dialogue became more famous than characters from entire franchises with long histories and detailed development. And he once said that Mr. Bean is a reminder that you don't always need words to be understood. Sometimes all you need is a raised eyebrow, a confused look, and a bit of bold silliness, which is a powerful lesson not only for comedians but for anyone trying to connect with others in a noisy world. And while many fans hope for a final Mr. Bean film or a grand farewell, Rowan Atkinson has hinted that the best goodbye may have already happened in Mr. Bean's Holiday, with its joyful beach scene and silent goodbye, because true comedy doesn't always need a dramatic ending. Sometimes it just walks off the screen with a wave and a smile, leaving people to remember it with fondness and laughter. Still, it's safe to say that Mr. Bean will never really disappear because he's not just a TV character. He's a part of culture now, like a modern myth, always ready to pop up in a new clip, a meme, a classroom, or a joke and make someone laugh without saying a word. And that's why decades after his first appearance, he continues to live on in reruns, reactions, remixes, and retellings. And his episodes are now part of everyday life for millions of people, especially English learners, who find Mr. Bean helpful not only for entertainment, but for language shadowing, pronunciation practice, and understanding emotions through actions. Which is why schools, teachers, and parents often use Mr. Bean in ESL programs, autism education, and cultural lessons, making him both a comedic icon and a practical learning tool, and it's hard to think of many characters in history who have achieved both, making people laugh and teaching them something valuable at the same time, especially without speaking. And this is the real legacy of Mr. Bean, a silent, odd, clumsy, curious man who wandered through life like a confused child in an adult's body, created messes with good intentions, annoyed strangers without meaning to, and somehow reminded us all to see the humor in our own imperfections, to not take life too seriously, and to appreciate the quiet, silly moments that connect us all as human beings. And as long as there are people who love to laugh, who get nervous in exams, who struggle with shopping bags, who lose their luggage, burn their dinner, fall asleep in church, or try to fix things only to make them worse, as long as we are human, Mr. Bean will always be with us, silent but smiling, reminding us that no matter how silly or strange we may feel sometimes, we're never truly alone. Because somewhere out there, Mr. Bean is doing something even more ridiculous, and making the whole world laugh one raised eyebrow at a time. Thank you for listening to the story of Mr. Bean. We hope you enjoyed it and practiced your English along the way. If you like this video, please subscribe to Fluent by Story for more fun and easy English stories. Keep learning, keep smiling, and see you in the next video.